Mr. Villese are working with in this game. So, game number 3 is upon us. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for being here, guys. It's Killer B. It's game number 3 of a really nice set of 1v1 games. It's a really nice set if you're Jordan, because you've won 2 in a row versus a really strong opponent, Villese. We've got a German and a Finn taking each other on, but they will be playing as the Portuguese for Jordan and the Teutons for Villese. So another live one on our hands, another Arabia match between these two players. And Jordan is maybe looking to edge above 2,400 tonight. He's going to have to win a few more games in a row. And he will certainly have to earn it versus such a high-quality opponent. Blue player is up against the edge of the map a bit. Has an interesting wood line to the side. I like this one a lot on the front, especially this groove. The gold pile for Jordan is not great at all. It's ugly. It's really ugly. Not only is half of it blocked by this wood line, but the half that isn't blocked, it has this weird surface area. So it's like, where do you even put the mining camp in this case? I guess you put it here? I don't know. We'll see what he does with that. But Jordan's first lumber camp is coming down, and his map so far looks a little bit awkward from a gathering eco standpoint. I think he'll be somewhat safe against raiding if he walls in the front, or maybe puts a barracks down here, or a stable, or an archery range there on the front. But I don't love it. I don't love it at all. Anyway, enough about me loving or not loving. You should always love. Hate will get you every time. Red player on the other side is Villese. Villese has 3 villagers out on the wood line. Back berries, couple of back stones. Okay, always interesting when you're playing Teutons. Those 2 back stone piles could be a little bit too tempting for him not to go towers. Sort of a wallable left flank. Gold on the front on an awkward hill, but I think it's a lot better than Jordan's gold. Secondary gold is out on the front. So this is by no means a map to write home about. I especially don't love this top ridge line, top of this hill. I don't love that area for him at all. 4 vills on wood early for Villese as he lures in the boar, and Jordan will have 4 on wood as well. So we could see early aggression from both guys. Let's see. They buffed organ guns, right? They did that. They really needed a buff. Conquerors, balanced empires, kingdom expansion, balanced conquerors. Maybe it's almost viable now. Didn't Viper call the Portuguese the worst civ ever? I don't know if the Viper said that, but it's... is it the worst civ ever? My instinct is no, but if the Viper said it, then it's true. Viper is like Santa Claus. He knows when you're sleeping and he knows when you're awake. That has nothing to do with anything, but he does. I mean, honestly, ask him. Ask him right now. If just pick a random person in the world, and the Viper can tell you if they're sleeping or awake. Anyway, enough about sleeping. Let's get into this. Villese pushing some deer on his side, not scouting forward yet. Jordan will do a little early scouting, and it does look like he is homing his way toward Villese. There's always some danger when you're on the edge of the map like this that you go to the wrong corner. Jordan seems to be going toward the right corner. And what's kind of interesting about Jordan's angle of approach is that it might convince Villese that Jordan's base is over here. So keep an eye on that. Oh boy, how about that? Villese losing the attention of that boar. There was an awkward hill in the middle, and Jordan's scout is actually there in time to see it. And we'll see where Villese's scout goes. Right now, he's going to protect the villager on that boar. He's grabbing the last couple sheep, and he pushed 1 deer, but he's going to give up for the moment on pushing another. Little scout blocking on that boar and keeping his scout in the area, just in case Jordan wanted to lame, I would guess. Even can sheep block if he wants to. But there's really no need for that. Two farms down already for the red player, and 4 vills out on the wood line. So not exactly saving up a bunch of wood is Villese, who is now starting to work his way across the map. And let's see if he goes to the wrong place. I think it's possible that when your opponent's scout comes in from this side, that you guess wrongly and you go up to the right. For now, Villese is still looking for Jordan. Jordan has found Villese, scouted around pretty nicely, and is also doing some palisade scouting. For those of you guys kind of maybe newer to the game, you can see your opponent's villagers working if you build the foundation of a palisade there. So if the red player goes over to this stone, Jordan's going to see it. Jordan didn't even find this other stone pile, but he might be looking for it as he continues to scout. Villese will go to the north of the map and is still basically whiffing at, or swinging at air. It's a swing and a miss so far, but he'll work his way from behind and find Jordan's economy. It's not a big deal. For me, it could have been a big deal because I'm much, much slower than these guys are. But Villese will work his way toward the TC now. He will find Jordan with a farm down, and he needs to find this barracks. That would be a good thing to know. But the scores will probably tip Villese off already. Jordan's score suggests that he has a couple units out on the map, and those units will be militia, and that may be a true drush. We don't see that. It's going to be men-at-arms. I was hoping to see a drush, man. I missed saying the word drush all the time. Vietnamese are good in team games, and they match well against certain civs like Britons. I love it, man. I haven't seen Teutons ever in a serious game except for Civ Random. Yeah, Teutons is not a civ that I would choose on a normal basis, but I think Teutons Portuguese is an interesting matchup. Let's see how it plays out, but I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe there's some gunpowder in our future. For now, Villese doing a little bit of quick walling on the side. Jordan's drush is coming in. Feudal Age is on the way for the J-Man, who's got 2 villagers out on gold. 2 more villagers going over. 25 pop up for Jordan. So, yeah, potential quick Castle Age if he wants to do it. For now, he's got Villese bottled up in his base, and Villese will go with a stable. Jordan, once again, getting way too close to this TC. That's been a theme today. He's lost his scout a couple times, or he's lost a lot of damage to units from TCs. Villese wants to get in a few pokes with his feudal scout since it has a couple extra damage, but Jordan will push that away with his militia. Villese continuing to wall in the side. And Jordan, I do think he's accomplishing what he wants to accomplish here. It doesn't look like the sexiest drush you've ever seen, but he's got Villese bottled up inside of his base, and the first couple scouts here are going to be playing defensive as long as Jordan doesn't run into the TC. In the meantime, Jordan is booming up back at home, dropping a second lumber camp, getting some villagers out onto gold, and walling all the way around toward the TC. So it is going to be a little tricky for Villese to crack this nut. By the time he kills, I think by the time he kills these militia, Jordan should be in great shape. Feudal Age is in for Jordan. It is a bit too late for him to want to, entertain the idea of men-at-arms. I don't think it was the right call, even if he was up sooner. Villese will clean that area. 3 scouts are out on the map for the red player. There is not a 4th scout queued up. So if you're keeping track at home, keep that in mind. It will be 3 scouts and only 3 scouts for Villese. And I think that's a pretty intelligent call, because if your opponent was walled up and fast castling, you don't want to be spending a bunch of food. Blue player, though, is not fast castling. He's going to add in 2 ranges and a blacksmith. Still just 4 vills on gold, but he can pump double range archers for a moment. Villese is going the wrong direction right now, which is going to give Jordan a really, really nice advantage. If you're Villese, you want to know about that range as soon as possible. Noticing that your opponent has walled toward the TC, ooh, he's going to dive in. Villese diving in and taking no damage. Well, there's that. These scouts could do some damage, and Villese will find the ranges. The most important thing here is to find the double ranges and find that they're garrisoned. I mean, that pretty much tells you what your opponent is up to. Villese doing it in maybe a bit of a roundabout fashion, but at least getting in and finding that, he'll also be able to find this back gold. So these scouts will certainly pay off. I mean, scouting is absolutely paramount in this game. If you never scouted that left side and you just saw these walls, you would think, man, my opponent could be fast castling. And you would be dead wrong. Red player continuing to wall himself in. Jordan starting to go forward with archers. He does have a spear there, which is my favorite word of the day, pragmatic of him, just in case your opponent is like going balls deep into scouts. Blacksmith coming down for the red player. Villese is starting to get pretty close on resources to entertaining the idea of clicking up after wheelbarrow's done. Jordan is kind of on the opposite wavelength. He will come forward with the feudal army. And this will be 3 games in a row where Villese has been able to click up sooner, and Jordan has been more aggressive in the feudal age. By the way, the score is 2-0 for Jordan. Let's see. Teutons need husbandry. I haven't seen Teutons ever in a serious game. Walling out his golds. Killer Bee is the only person discussing whether drushes are sexy. Hey, ice cream. Good to see you. The word drush is just, oh man, that's how I won my wife over. I said drush in her ear quietly in a cinema. I don't think that's a way to win anyone's heart, but maybe there's somebody out there. Anyway, skirmishers in defense for Villese with fletching and the defense upgrades. So Jordan is not going to get so much done here. Jordan's spear, though, is doing work. He's going to put down some damage on this scout. Villese, yeah, he's going to keep fighting back those archers. For now, Jordan is going back, and Villese is going to match Jordan's army with some skirmishers, which is a really cost-effective way for him to fight that back. It will slow his castle time by a tad, but Villese here still has an opportunity to go up a lot sooner than Jordan does. So Villese is going to make up for his lack of unit number with a really nice counter unit with what is full upgrades for the moment for the feudal age. Jordan had more offensive firepower there, but his archers certainly can't really win that fight. So Jordan will go back. Jordan will get a stable down at home. Keep that in mind. When you see all those skirms, maybe it means you will add a knight. Jordan did put the mining camp on this edge, so those of you guys who are thinking about how to make your game better, this awkward gold, apparently, by Jordan's account, is best mined from this corner. I tend to agree. You can see a lot of bumping. It's not pretty, but you got to play the hand you're dealt. God giveth Jordan awkward gold, and Jordan giveth entertainment. Giveth us entertainment. Anyway, archers hanging out on top of the hill. The J-Man with +1 damage. Wheelbarrow is on the way for him. Villese is on the way to Bloodlines and on the way to Castle Age. And we will see a second stable. So one stable here for the red player, a second stable on top. And for the moment, do we have a scout for Villese? I don't see one. I wanted to check his upgrades. But we'll probably see at least +1 defense in, I would expect. Skirmishers are already in hot water. Jordan pumping out a couple of scouts. That will tell his opponent that he's got a stable down, of course, but it will also kill several skirmishers, and it will allow Jordan's army to maybe get in here while Villese transitions to the next age. Great micro from Jordan, not taking any pokes from that spear. And all of a sudden, the blue army is on top of a hill, and it's ready to make a little bit of a push. Villese trying to micro around this group, but he's having a lot of trouble getting the spear, keeping the spear alive, and allowing him to do damage to these scouts. Jordan's micro here has been wonderful. He's popping back and forth, and he's still hanging out on top of that hill. Villese hits the Castle Age. Scale Barding armor just completed. Double stable knight production has begun. Jordan will come in, and he will clean up a lot of these skirms, but one wonders if there's enough time left for him to do any real damage. This feels dead meat, but the archers are going to go back and hide in the fog of war. My favorite word is balls deep. Definitely one word. You won my heart, man. When a drush is rapidly replacing other phrases for sex in Scandinavia. I walked up to this car and the windows were all fogged up and the kids in there they were drushing each other. Relentlessly. It was a massacre. Anyway, those two scouts are still roaming around for Jordan, figuring out what's going on the backside. He actually never scouted this extra stone, so a little bit of information. Maybe he wanted to poke a villager on that wood line, but the knights will chase him away. Red player with +1 defense and bloodlines in. Jordan on the way to scale barding and still working his way toward Castle Age. I believe that Jordan was able to hide, yes, he was able to hide those archers well enough to keep them on their feet. For now, these knights are not quite able to clean up that army. Jordan needs that group alive, even if it means losing a couple vills to some raiding. Needs that group of archers alive. 3 knights diving in under the TC at this point doesn't seem like a very good idea. Villese will poke on the walls, and we'll lose one of these knights. No, not quite. Villese is going to be the aggressor here in the Castle Age. This will be a double stable push with a monastery behind it, and it should be rather decisive, and by decisive I mean he seems to be pretty committed to it. We'll see if he adds in another TC, but I would think his resources, well, he's got the resource for one more TC sometime soon. I think his resources will be stretched a bit if he's going to keep the knight production up. You can see that the gold is already running quite low for Villese. So that decisive double stable action may not be so decisive. Second town center is down, and those 2 stables are quiet all of a sudden. I got excited. I got overly excited, and I was wrong, and I apologize. In the meantime, it's too late to apologize. +2 damage is in. Thumb ring on the way for Jordan. He's ready to push back forward with that same group of crossbows. 1 TC for the blue player for now. And he is happily going to try to flip the script. Villese can certainly outrun this group of crossbows. And Villese may be ready for that group as they roll forward. Spent a lot of wood on this TC on the bottom. Maybe a siege workshop would have been an option too, but for now it will be a second town center coming. Craves, want to drush later? Get your mind out of the gutter, you pervs. It's a totally platonic game. Thanks for the biddies, and thank you for the Craigasms. Yeah, you want to drush later? Siege Workshop will come down for Villese, so he can afford that now, and he can maybe get a mango out to deal with those archers. Jordan will get a university. He will continue to be on the offensive here. Ballistics behind it, bloodlines behind it, a couple of knights here with +1 defense. Jordan with a meat shield and a group of crossbows, which is a bit scary if you're Villese. You've got to rely on your ability to push that back and hold it back with a siege workshop for now. Villese's eco will be quite stressed as he keeps 3 TCs going, but if Jordan can't strike while the iron's hot, then the red player could be in a really nice position. No 60 FPS, says Turkey Dinosaur. No, we don't have it. I don't know if it's true. I've never actually found a good forum that says this, but I think when you're not fully partnered, you can't stream at the same. You don't get the same amount of upload bandwidth. Is that true? Is that possible? I know when I stream on Escape, I can just put the settings all the way up on everything. I mean, I have fiber here at my house, so we have really, really good internet at the moment. Hopefully we still have it when we move. But I can never seem to get Twitch not to lag on my own channel. Even at this setting, we will drop a couple frames from time to time. But on Escape, when we've pointed the camera for those guys, it's flawless. So I don't know. Anyway, those knights are continuing to be healed up, +2 defense for the red player, ready to deal with that pin cushion of crossbows that is still massing up on top of the hill. We did see a university come in. I did not see ballistics, but I could have been looking the wrong way. Sanctity coming for Villese, husbandry coming for Mr. Jordan, and the knights from Villese will come forward and at least figure out what's going on. Do we have ballistics? It looks like we actually might have ballistics in there. Let's see if the mangonels get off a shot. For now, Jordan is diving in to try to take them down. Those mangoes, though, will get a shot each. No, one mango gets 1 shot, and they both die to Jordan's knights. Jordan will have to probably retreat back to this hill and get his meat shield out in front of this army, but pretty nice bit of trading there, I would say, able to kill those couple mangoes. Villese, though, will take the hill, and there's a lot of bloodline with +2 defense knights here. Jordan wants to get into a corner, and he can't find a corner, and Villese is going to kill that whole army, and the red player would have had the only military and a huge villager advantage. And surprisingly, to me, that GG came in. I mean, it was GG. I just wasn't ready for it. Jordan knew it before I knew it. Villese outbooming his opponent and getting a really great fight there at the end. I thought Jordan might be able to kill those 2 mangoes, retreat back to his hill, lob in some arrow fire, get some knights out in front of his crossbows, but it wasn't in the cards. When you're playing against a real human being,